Ah, yes, when I was a wee little lad. Just kidding, dudes. That's actually my youngest Silas when he was 2. I must have attempted that like 5 or 6 times before I actually got this, guys, at 441. So I scanned through so much footage for you guys. It was nuts. I think I had a total of like 20 hours of work sets in deadlifts to make this video. So obviously I cut it down to singles that I had tried, not even all the attempts, but this is kind of a like, you can see the evolution. Like, look at that form. That's horrible. And that's one reason, guys, like, you don't want a cat back, right? If you're using straps, don't use straps. It probably means you're too fatigued. Develop your grip. Pretty pumped right here. First time I ever hit 500. That's what you would hear in the background. I was psyched. So right after it, this is a good one too, because if you can PR twice in a row, and that's for the day, guys, that's good to go. You should never push it past that, because that's when stuff starts to break. So bad things start to happen once you go more than 2. And that's something I think I had heard from Dave Tate one time, and I fully agree with that. So here's 507. And this is a big deal to me. 500 was awesome, but this 507, and this is prep before my first meet, so I was obviously getting super ass lean here, guys. On a bod pod, I measured it less than 4%. I was like 3.9 or something like that right here. And I was shredded. So I was about 140 pounds in this lift. So I'm really close. Most guys, if you don't know this, when they do like MMA and stuff like that, and they have a 24-hour weigh-in like this, they're usually cutting 10% of their body weight. So that would be that like a 132, me cutting from 145, which I don't recommend, guys. What these guys don't realize is water that comes from like your tendons and ligaments is not going to rehydrate in enough time. So obviously I was pumped when I hit that. I was psyched. This is after the first meet, crushing it, kind of looking pretty thick and meaty right there. So I was putting on some weight I didn't plan to. Oh yeah, I was pumped when I finally hit 4 times body weight, or what would be. Oh God, never leave your phone. This is what happens. This is one of my training partners. This is what this Yahoo and the other Yahoo, which you'll see in a second, would do. When I would go to the bathroom, they'd grab my phone because they knew I was recording the footage to look at form and crap like that. And these are the PG ones, guys. They would. Oh, anyway, sorry. I think it's funny, and it's part of the deadlifting process. So, and there's Peter struggling with the foam weights. He's only 6'3" and 250. Oh boy, here we go. This, you see how fast? That's where I would fail at the beginning. That was 463. So we're looking at a little over a year after the start, like a year, not even a year and a half. I'm doing a little mock meet. So I had squatted and benched already. And get you guys, if you notice, like the thing, I had basically trained almost like basically to have a photo shoot. That's why I'm pretty tan there. And plus it's the end of September. So I could look really good for the photo shoot. But I was like, what the hell? I look amazing right now. I got like the pseudo bodybuilder, power builder, shredded look. I'm like, I'm just going to do a mock meet because I had one like a month and a half after this. And, I know my form was here. I ramped it up on my legs, but I still lift. This is the first time I ever hit 551. And I was, obviously going crazy, psycho, and I got the Vegeta theme in the background. And unfortunately, my personality sometimes is like Vegeta. I have the chip on my shoulder, and I don't take crap from anybody, if you know what I mean. So I was just like, whatever. I don't give a shit what people think. I'm just gonna slam this shit down. And all right, here's my second meet. Did pretty well. So I had the top ranking. You can see both of these meets I hit 534, but I missed the next attempt after that. And we actually had quite a few 132s, so the top 3 are right there. You can see their names. And I won the meet. I actually, if they kept it, I actually beat the Raw Unity record for 132. Then my brother was going to try to compete at 148. He didn't make weight, so he went up to 165, and that was just a brutal weight class because he had the Kyle Keogh got second place. He had set the world record in at 148 the year before. And then Paul Wynn, who I ended up started working with, though we were collaborating for this next meet, because what happened was Paul and I broke records. I broke the all-time American record, and he broke the world record. But because they had a issue with the weights, they didn't count it. So I was pissed because I actually did have the all-time world record for drug testing, and because I couldn't take it on the same day, they were just like, oh, it doesn't count. I'm like, fine. So I was planning to go up to 148 to see if I can still put on enough muscle to compete at 148, because obviously, guys, you can tell, like, I have to get so lean to make 132. It's just hard. Now, this is crazy. I don't recommend that you try to go this heavy, even with reverse bands, over what you think you can do. But we did it, and it was a good experiment, and that's reverse bands. That's 617 pounds. So that took off the bar basically at the top. So at the bottom, it was probably like 507. And then at the top, it's, like at least 573 at the top. So it might even be 529 at the bottom. So it deloads the bottom, so you're not that really, really hard part. You get to feel the bar. You get to feel the weight that you might try to attempt in a meet. That's the whole process of using reverse bands. First attempt, 507. Real smooth. You'll see after this next one I hit it. I knew I'm giving it like the little yeah after this, because I broke the all-time world record handily. I almost hit 10-time body weight. If I had one more white light, I got 2 reds and 1 light on my last squat attempt, and it was super close. I talked to the one judge, one of them that gave me a red, and they both said we almost gave you white, so I almost had 3 whites instead of. So it forced me to do 573 instead, and unfortunately I just didn't have enough. And I always like these ones too, because one of my favorite things to watch is a deadlift when you're trying so hard, like I'm shaking right there. It's so far away. I call that earthquake. I love earthquakes. I love it when I do it. I love it when, like, the kings of that I know personally are Kyle Keogh and my brother Joe Brandenburg. Those guys earthquake constantly. Little close-up shots. See that's the Brandenburg flag emblem on the chest there. So, and I did it. So I finally reestablished it, that it worked that time, and that's kind of a good achievement. You always just focus on what you're doing and doing your best. But you know what? It's pretty cool when you're, at the time I was 40 years old, and to do something like that, and it was kind of a little redemption from some of the things that happened in my college career. Oh yeah, and this was great too. I started feeling like crap. I was trying to go up to 148 again, and I went to the hospital and I tested positive for Lyme disease. So because of all the antibiotics, not be able to keep down food, and also, so I found out after I put on a bunch of weight. So I basically gained and lost 20 pounds during that process. And then Chad Greenway, I'm trying not to get hurt because I had all these muscle spasms from some of the problems with Lyme and other things going on with me. So I'm trying to be really careful. He's trying to get me to do like pull-ups for this commercial and stuff. And he's a cool guy. He used to be an NFL linebacker for the Vikings. And then he knew all the wrestling gigs because he played football for the Hawkeyes. And so he knew a lot of the wrestlers, even though he's actually 7 years younger than me. If you rewind it and look at him, he's 7 years younger than me. But that's how hard football is on you guys. So, and I know I look young, but he's 7 years younger. First attempt, I wasn't quite at the total record at this first attempt, but so here's the deal. There were some really, really good powerlifters, and one female powerlifter that's really well known. She was there. She's like, she watched me hit 507. She's like, I swear to God, I thought you were going to do 600 pounds. She's like, you picked up 507 like you're picking up a laundry basket. So here we go on the next one. This is kind of a weird weight. It's 519 because I went half a kilo over the deadlift record. So I basically broke the total record and the deadlift record on this attempt right here. Easy peasy. Still treating Lyme disease. Everything kind of not going my way. Doesn't matter, guys. Sometimes you just got to suck it up. And I was lucky enough to do that. Now, this one's a struggle, but this is huge. This is a PR for me in meets. And I talked to Eddie Cohn about it, about a few months after this, and he's like, dude, you should have been able to lift more than that. He's like, you mislifted that. And maybe I did. But you know what, guys? It happened. I enjoyed this. My two biggest videos to date are going to come up very shortly, the accessory movements for deadlifts and also my diet. So stay tuned, stay around, and you guys are going to really enjoy the next two videos I have after this. Peace!